Welcome one and all, I'm Decoy, and today we're going to talk about Fallout, but not just any Fallout, the next Fallout. Because, of course, people lost their minds when Todd Howard announced that they're looking into ways to make their game pipeline more efficient so they can get the next Fallout to us that much faster. At the same time, I still feel like there's lots of money left on the table, and there's a much more efficient thing they could be doing that would bide time so they could make sure the next Fallout is, fully cooked and not an absolute buggy mess at release. Honestly, what they should do, and I think a lot of people can agree with me, is go back and remaster the older Fallouts. Not only Fallout 3 and New Vegas, which I know a bunch of people want that remastered, or those remastered. I've even seen where some people not only want them remastered, they want like the settlement system or camp system added into them. And well, honestly, I could see that working. At the same time, I don't think it's an absolute necessity for the remaster. But what I will say is what they definitely should be looking into is bringing the OG Fallout games to console, because they have never been on console, so none of the console players have got to experience the original Fallout games. They've never got to be part of the story and the lore, and honestly, it just seems like a missed opportunity. Now, mind you, PC to console ports in the past have had, a pretty shaky ground, we'll say. But if they actually took the time, which I know someone's going to be like, Bethesda taking time? What? That's not a thing. But if they did, they took the time and they did a proper port that wasn't a steaming pile of crap, I think it would go a long ways. Honestly, I think they would sell a lot of copies, and it would help buy them the time they need to, focus on making sure that the game they release is in a decent state. Because as we've seen with pretty much every Bethesda release in recent history, or as far back as I can remember, they've always released in a buggy state. Even when, they release in a state that's not absolutely atrocious, they still release in a buggy state. It's just slightly less buggy than another state that a game was released in. So I think it would go a long ways if, instead of trying to rush things out, if they just take their damn time and make a solid game at release. Which is kind of counterintuitive to, most game developers nowadays. Just kind of rush it out, fix it later. But again, honestly, if they're looking at increasing the speed of the pipeline for the games, remasters are a much faster thing to do than working from scratch. So honestly, I think remasters should be a thing, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do happen. Though I'm not really sure if they'll go down the road of, porting over the original games, but they really, really should take a serious look at that, because it needs to happen. For the Fallout community's sake, it needs to happen, because a huge chunk of the Fallout community doesn't know that part of the lore, and that just sucks. But either way, I'll tell you what, hop down in the comments, let me know your thoughts on all of this. Am I crazy for thinking they need to port over the original Fallout games? What about 3 in New Vegas? Are you for them getting remastered? Maybe adding a camp system or settlement system, something to that effect? What would you like to see? I hope you've enjoyed this. Please remember to like, sub, and share. Later.